Let's remove this plastic cover from this package of wet wipes. Add a bit of hot glue and stick it onto the outlet. Now we have a cover for our outlet. This screw keeps falling down. We can wrap it with some plastic wrap in order to make our life a bit easier. Next, we'll make a handle that keeps our broom from falling apart. Cut off the bottom of a plastic bottle and pass a cord through the cap and tie a knot like so. Put the bottle around the end of the broom and shrink the plastic using a heat gun. Now screw on the cap. After some sweeping, we can hang it up when we're done. Our pliers are a little too small to unscrew this. But what about if we use the other side? Use a magnet to organize drill bits. Sawdust often gathers in our toolboxes. We can remove it by putting some masking tape with holes on the end of this vacuum to act as a filter. We don't seem to have the right tool to remove this bolt. If we can trace the shape of the bolt onto this bottle cap, we can use it to help us unscrew the bolt. Using a hammer on wood is going to leave indentations. We can add some hot glue to the end of this hammer to act as a cushion and to protect the wood from being damaged. Unscrewing this nut using pliers can be a little tricky. We can pass a zip tie around the handles to give us a consistent grip as we pass it over the vise. Using a normal sander to sand the inner edges of this piece isn't going to work. We can solve this problem with a little bit of ingenuity. Apply some double-sided tape and sandpaper to the jigsaw blade like so. Now we can sand using our jigsaw. Hanging up disposable gloves like this will keep our hands clean during painting. Need some DIY plastic tubes? Start by cutting a plastic bottle into strips. Now we can pass the strips through the small hole and melt them a bit with a heat gun. We can cut the strips to any size that we like. And even place them into drywall to create anchors for screws. This old label just isn't coming off. We can use this DIY paint scraper to do the job. Our next project is making a can of spray paint using this plastic bottle. We'll attach a bike tire valve to the top of this plastic bottle. Then we'll cut off the top of this spray paint can and remove the inner tube. Then we'll pass the tube through the bottle cap and apply hot glue to seal it. Now we can screw on the cap and attach the nozzle. Fill the bottle with paint and pump it with air. Now it sprays. Using pliers will damage this metal rod. We can prevent any scratches by applying some hot glue to the teeth of the pliers. We can't remove this bottle cap with our bare hands, but we can use this plastic bottle to help us. Melt the top and flatten it out like so. Now we can pop the cap right off. Our cables are always falling off the table when we need them most. Let's attach a comb to the edge of this table to hold all of our cords. You can use a credit card to smooth out this bead of caulk for a clean, professional look. It's always difficult to solder tiny wires. Let's make a little stand. Wrap a rubber band around the handles of one pair of pliers. Place the capacitor in the jaws. Wrap a rubber band around the second pair of pliers and use those pliers to hold up the first pair. Now we can comfortably solder. A quick way to easily sharpen pencils is just by using a sander. We can use this orbital sander paper to draw a few different sized circles, as you can see here. We want to tie this rope around this tree, but which knot should we use? We'll keep things simple and just tie an overhand loop. Start with a simple overhand knot and wrap the rope around the tree. Then use the loose end to follow the path of the overhand knot. Pull it tight, and now you have a secure knot. Driving screws into wood can be a bit difficult if the screw is long enough. We can add a bit of WD-40 to make the job easier. To fasten these two pieces of wood together, we'll drill 2 pilot holes at a 45-degree angle. Then we'll install wood screws to secure the post. If our outlet's hanging too loose, we can add pieces of scrap wood into the outlet box to better secure the outlet. Now when we reinstall the outlet plate, it doesn't budge. We can use some steel wire to wrap around this tubing to secure it to this fitting. Wrap the wire with the screwdriver until the excess falls off. For our next DIY project, we'll be making a claw rake. We'll start by cutting some rebar. We'll cut 6 pieces, with the last one being longer than the rest. Sharpen the tips on the 5 and then weld them together at the base. Now we'll place this in the vise and bend each tine to a 90-degree angle. Then we'll weld our last piece onto the end. We'll use our lathe to give our rake a nice wooden handle. If regular nails won't hold this board down, try using rivet nails. If the vinyl starts to come off of this MDF, just use a bit of hot glue and then press it down with a block of wood. Our Wi-Fi signal isn't as strong as we'd like it to be. We can cut open this can of soda and flatten it out. Then place it behind the antenna for better reach. If we need to inflate this air mattress, we can use an industrial vacuum cleaner to help us out. We'll install the hose on the opposite side so that it blows air. And in case the hose doesn't fit to the mattress, we can use this old adhesive tube to make an attachment. Tape the tube to the vacuum hose and then connect it to the mattress. Now we just let the vacuum pump in the air. Our Jigsaw has a fan that creates a bit of air. Using this plastic fitting, we can direct the air down to the front of the blade to keep the dust from getting stuck inside of the blade. Our next project is a stand for fishing poles. We'll need a PVC pipe and some foam tubing. We'll mount the PVC pipe onto the bottom of the stand. Then we'll attach the foam tubing just above it. Now we can place our fishing poles just like so. If we need to attach these 2 pipes at a right angle, we can use a pair of scissors to act as a compass to give us a rough guide where to cut. It should look something like this before, and it should look like this after the pipe's been cut. A little trick to keeping pizza a bit warmer on the drive home is just to turn on the seat warmers. You can use a binder clip in cases where you've lost the plastic cover to prevent the razor from accidentally making any cuts. To prevent this board from splitting, you'll want to drill a pilot hole beforehand. You can do this by drilling a bit in reverse. We can use this piece of plastic to ensure clean cuts with our jigsaw. We'll attach the plastic shield to the bottom of our jigsaw using some double-sided tape. Now when we make our cuts, the wood doesn't chip. Try flipping the wrench after every turn for maximum leverage. If we want to cool down a can of soda a bit faster, we can wrap a few napkins around the can and then wet the napkins and then place it in the freezer. After about 30 minutes, our soda will be nice and cold.